Hey team, how are you? So I'm going to say something a little bit complicated. Hopefully I make some sense. So there's 2 points I want to make. The first point is about the dance that we have between the yin and the yang. The dance of life between the physical and the spiritual. And so, we're spiritual beings that reside in a physical body, and there's a dance that's taking place. And I want to talk about that. And the second thing I want to talk about is about building willpower, how we build willpower. So those are the two kind of concepts I want to really thrash out and discuss, and hopefully I can weave them together. So as far as us as humans are concerned, my thoughts only, this is what I believe. I believe that we're actually in essence the higher power, God, Allah, Source, infinite intelligence, the universe. We are God, and we are the essence of Allah, God, the higher power. And what we're doing is we're experiencing as the higher power the physical. We're in the shell of physical limits that are matter, and so being spirit is limitless, it's boundless. You can be and do anything, and if you are just in the spiritual state, that in itself is it's difficult, because then you don't have limits, so there's no fun in that. And then so as the higher power, you can create a situation where you limit yourself through the physical, through matter, through physical form. And that's what humans are. We are a discrete existence within continuity, and so we're experiencing, or the spirit is experiencing, through our discreteness, its ability to express itself. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're defined by the boundaries of the physicality of what humans are. But the journey of life is to work with the physicality, the limitations that we have, and congruence ourselves, align ourselves in a way that we are able to escape from those physical boundaries, back into the spiritual, and we live in a spiritual realm. So the point is that there is a yin and a yang. There's the spiritual dimension, and then there's the physical dimension. And, we're journeying between the two, and we're trying to maximize our spiritual experience in the physical to develop thinking and thought while we're in the physical. So we're resisting. The physical is a resistance for us. And we basically are using that resistance to get back to a higher spiritual state, which is called transcendence. And then we get back to the higher dimension where all the knowledge exists, and that is called wisdom and enlightenment. And then that knowledge we bring back into the physical, back into the universe. So that's the first part. The second part is about thought itself. So if you understand that thought is coming from a higher dimension, it's like an umbilical cord that links the higher dimension to our dimension, the physical dimension. That is thought that's coming through. Because where does thought come from? Where does imagination originate from? It has to come from a different dimension, and it comes into our dimension, right? So the point I'm trying to make with that is that thoughts are limitless, and they're unbounded, and they're appearing in our physicality. Now, thoughts are the fuel of the fire. Thoughts are what fuel us, fire us up, and the stories we tell ourselves, which are the thoughts that we've let's say thunk, right? The thoughts that we've thunk, they are our stories, and their stories are what we use to motivate and you know, action ourselves. So the fuel, the thoughts, the fuel of our fire is thoughts, right? So what we have to do is we have to develop great thoughts, and that's the secret. The secret is not the thought itself, but how to develop great thoughts that when they appear, they're already the thoughts that are empowering and powerful for us. And we do that through deep practices. And the deep practices are, for example, prayers, meditation, I take cold showers, affirmations, you know, even journaling, exercise. All these kind of things are practices, deep practices that we're utilizing to exercise willpower. Now, why do we need to exercise willpower? Because willpower is what is the fountainhead. It's basically the filter through which thoughts, the right thoughts, type of thoughts, can come through. And so what we do is all these different deep practices to be able to exercise willpower, to align the right types of thoughts that come in from the higher dimension into the physical dimension, and that then allow us to fully express ourselves in the physicality. So our journey in the physical to get back to the spiritual beings is to really express ourselves fully, align ourselves and express ourselves fully to become the best and highest and deepest versions of ourselves. And so we do this, you know, with great thoughts. And the most powerful thought that one can have, let me go back to the original point I made, is that we are source. We are the essence of Allah. We're the essence of God. So the most powerful thoughts we can have is of what is the most powerful, which is of God, Allah, the universe, nature, one, evolution, source, infinite intelligence. So our ability in our deep practices to develop thoughts that give us such an awareness of the higher power, as if we are present to the higher power, we are the higher power, are the most empowering thoughts that we can have. So just some kind of thoughts I was sharing with you, some, you know, things to think about for yourselves. I'm going to put description below that articulates what I'm saying, and every time I put a video together, I am putting a description below that you can read and you know, do in your leisure and you know, process and absorb. And if you have any comments, you have any feedback, you know, you want to kind of give your take on you know, this topic, I'd certainly welcome it. Please do leave some comments below, and you know, let's create a community where we can get value out of all these videos you know, that I'm putting out, and you know, we can all become one as well. Take care, guys. Bye now.